I'm Mary Margaret Kilmeyer. I am the Programs Director for Wstream Foundation, Curing Stomach Cancer. So I'll briefly tell you a little bit about our organization. Wstream Foundation was founded by Debbie Zellman, who was diagnosed with stage 4 stomach cancer in April of 2008. She was 40 years old at the time. She had no risk factors and very few symptoms that were attributed to other illnesses. It took quite a while for her to be diagnosed, but she was ultimately diagnosed with stomach cancer. At the time, 90% of her liver had metastases on it, and she was given, unfortunately, weeks to live. However, she was really fortunate to respond to her first treatments and ultimately ended up living 9.5 years. She passed away almost a year ago in December of 2017. But she had been told that she had that 4% survival rate at 5 years and was determined to fight and to make a better landscape for cancer treatments and cancer patients. And she endured many of the harsh chemo regimens and targeted treatments, did multiple lines of therapy, radiations, and other treatment protocols to help her sustain for those 9.5 years. And after she responded to those first treatments in the first year in 2009, she did found the organization in order to provide this education and information available to stomach cancer patients. One other motivating factor for her as well was because there had not at that time been a new treatment approved in more than 30 years. And so she found that the research was in desperate need of funding as well as advocacy at the national level. And those were the beginnings of the mission for Wstream Foundation. As an organization, we're a member of the Deadliest Cancers Coalition, the Patient Equal Access Coalition, the State Patient Equal Access Coalition, as well as One Voice Against Cancer. These are each coalitions that advocate on behalf of patients at a national level. And Debbie served as a patient advocate at numerous task forces you can see listed here. We have in her passing also nominated additional patients to serve and to be an advocate for others. If this is something you're interested in, please feel free to let me know. You can during the course of today or by email. And so the mission of Wstream Foundation is to raise awareness about stomach cancer, advance funding for research, and provide education and support internationally to patients and their caregivers and family members. Our ultimate goal is to make the cure for stomach cancer a reality. And so just a few notes on our leadership. In your packet is a full listing of our board of directors and our medical advisory board, as well as our corporate advisory council and honorary board, all of whom have a passion for the mission to create change, to support patients, to advocate for research funding, and they guide us in each of their own capacities and expertise to help us make this mission as successful as possible. And there's a quick listing of our medical advisory board members and some photos as we attend as an organization the major oncology conferences across the country. We do gather our medical advisory board, share with them updates about the foundation, and they share with us also regarding clinical practice and patient needs and gaps in care that we could help serve and provide that information. So there's some photos from some of our last meetings. Wstream Foundation also offers numerous resources. We've been in existence for just about 10 years now, and we have a website that contains in-depth information about stomach cancer, a lecture library of recorded presentations like those that are happening today, as well as our other educational webinars and information. So you can go in if you are diagnosed on Monday and you missed today's meeting, you will have every opportunity to hear all of that information from today, as well as the webinars past and symposia past as well. We do have information about clinical trials in general, but we also offer a clinical trials matching service. So you're able to go in and look at a list of open trials in your area. You can also contact the organization and put in information specific to your treatment and your diagnosis, and you can see a preliminary list of trials that you may qualify for to get a listing of those that you can take back to your doctor to discuss and ask questions with them to utilize as a tool to help in your care. We also have an online blog and resource listings for the country around the US and Canada, as well as the United Kingdom. We offer support through our patient resource education program, and this includes the information that's available on our website, but also to provide patients and their caregivers with a mentor who is either a survivor or a caregiver themselves, someone who has walked in your shoes, who can tell you about their experiences and offer their tips and suggestions for you to help navigate the cancer journey in the cancer world. We do education events year-round. The symposia like today, we do 2 to 3 of these around the country every year. We also offer multiple webinars every other month or quarterly to provide updates in the clinical treatments and information that's available to patients and other pertinent topics that are important regarding nutrition and clinical trials and things like that. And here's just a quick snapshot. We actually recently redesigned our website, so I wanted to include an updated version so you can take a look. I've highlighted at the top the resources tab, and you can see there the drop-down information and all of the links that are available regarding education, support, and news and information that you can stay informed and up to date. We have 29 chapters in the US as well as chapters in Canada and Germany. They are hosting events usually around, all around the calendar, around the world to raise awareness, help fund some research, and to provide information to patients and their community. And also on our website, you can see a full listing of our upcoming events by clicking on the events tab on that homepage. Another major mission point is regarding our research funding. To date, we have provided $850,000 in research funding, and you can see a listing of our grant recipients from 2014 to 2017, and then our 4 grant recipients, $200,000 of that alone was awarded in 2018, and we were able to provide 4 Young Fellow Awards, and one of those is Dr. Valerie O'Brien, who's here with us today, and she'll be presenting and giving us some updates on her work as well, so we're thankful that you're here. And research funding that we provide is one way, and another way that's very effective is through national advocacy. And we do this through our Capitol Hill Advocacy Day annually, coming up on February 25th and 26th in 2019. We'll be returning to Capitol Hill for the 7th time to ask the representatives to provide funding through the Department of Defense's peer-reviewed cancer research program. And as a sense of how important this is, the funding that we've been able to make available over the course of 4 to 5 years, over 3 fiscal years, the Department of Defense has now funded nearly $18 million for stomach cancer research specifically. And this is purely from the advocacy of Wstream Foundation after we went and asked to be added on, that they started to allow us stomach cancer researchers to submit these applications, and it has been about $5 to $6 million awarded to gastric cancer research each year, which is just incredibly impressive and funding that had not been previously available. So if you have time, patients, caregivers, healthcare providers, if you're able to travel with us to Washington, it is such an important opportunity to speak to Congress, let them know how important research is, and to help raise your voice to make this happen. And I can give you more information about that as well. And I have a listing of contact information for our offices, with including our address and phone numbers that you can use to reach our staff, as well as the general emails for any inquiries. And general inquiries can go to our admin address, and if they're patient-specific or related to resources, you would use the patient.resource@wstream.org. And there are multiple ways also to give back to help us be able to continue to provide these types of services and programs available. If you have the means, please consider donating, which you can do easily through our website. But there's also a lot of ways to get involved by starting a chapter, advocating individually, volunteering, running an event, something like that. And you can find information about that under the Take Action section of our website. And we're also on social media, so you can stay in touch with us by Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn. There's the links there for you to get connected with us. As I had mentioned, all of our presentations we do record, and we'll host those on our lecture library. There is a link there for you, and again, it's under the resources tab from our homepage. And I just wanted to also show, because it can be a little confusing to navigate, a snapshot. When you click on the lecture library, that image is what you will see. So once we have the recorded versions of today, you'll see a listing for the Seattle Stomach Cancer Education Symposium, where you can click on that, and you'll be able to view a YouTube playlist of all of today's presentations. But you could also see that there are other topics. Each of the listings here is a YouTube playlist. So if you would like to learn more about genomics or clinical trials or nutrition, just click on each of those and it will open that playlist for you. And for today's agenda, we'll be hearing presentations this morning regarding radiation oncology, surgical methods and considerations for stomach cancer treatment, listings of chemotherapy, targeted therapies, and immunotherapies, and how those treatment decisions are made and what those different treatments are. And then that will be followed by a question and answers panel for each of those three speakers. Will join us on the stage and give an opportunity for everyone in the room to ask questions and to interact with the speakers. And after that panel, we'll hear a talk on psychosocial support as well as hospice services. And we're very fortunate to have a patient and caregiver join us today to share their experiences and their tips and stories during the patient and caregiver panel. And that will also be followed by question and answers. And then we'll take a break for lunch for about an hour. And as I had mentioned, we'll do the patient survivor photo before hearing our final sessions in the afternoon regarding H. pylori and how it's involved in gastric cancer development, as well as hereditary gastric cancer and management of hereditary gastric cancer. And then the final question and answer session for those two speakers before concluding the end of the day.